This is the project that I've been working on. So now I actually have all of the stitching done all the way around, and I'm going to show you how I got everything set up and cut, and how the Cricut Maker actually can cut all of this out of the leather. The other side of it, I cut this, you'll watch it do this, and then I put this is my metallic piece. I reverse appliqued and then put the metallic behind it, and then just went around and really carefully edge stitched, top stitched all of this all the way around. So this is going to end up being the front pocket of a Journey handbag by Sue Cheek, and this is for a custom piece. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I hope you get some good information, and I hope I can explain it in a manner that makes sense. I'm going to give you, well, I'm going to give it my best shot anyway, to show you how I used my Cricut Maker to do a reverse applique recently. So I'm going to start off kind of with the basics, actually, bringing in a file, and then we'll get actually to the cutting part later. So I'm going to show you how, this is one method, I guess, of bringing a file in so that you can use it to cut. So this is a PDF. This is my Alana pattern, and I'm going to take this handy little zipper overlay, and I'm going to pull it right out of my pattern into my Cricut software, and I'm going to show you how I do all of that. So, and I'm going to get my Cricut essentially to cut this out for me. So what I need to do is I need to go to the page where this piece is. I've got it selected here. I'm going to double click. I'm using a Mac, so I'm using my 2-finger click, and I'm going to export as. Now this is fine, just a name. I'm going to export it to my desktop so I can see it, and the format I'm going to use JPEG, and I'm going to save. So there you can see it popped up over here, just one page, and I'm going to just shrink that down. Now I'm going into my Cricut design space, and I'm just going to leave this the size it is right now for the moment, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to go to New Project. Now, in order for me to be able to bring that, to actually be able to cut with it, I have to bring it into my program first. So I'm going to upload, then I'm going to go upload image, then I'm just going to click and drag this here. Because this is small, I can just actually just click it and drag it over. So now I'm going to just go full screen here so that this is bigger. For my purposes, because all I'm doing is cutting, I don't care about printing, I don't care about anything else. I'm just going to, the image type is going to be simple. And I'm going to continue. So now this is what I have. First, I'm going to get rid of this piece because this is only one right now that I want to isolate. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to crop. I'm not quite done yet though. Now I'm going to select and erase. And I'm going to click on the areas of the image that I want to remove. So essentially all I want left is I want this overlay. So I'm going to get rid of the background. I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm also going to get rid of the inside here. If I didn't do that, it would only cut around the outside. It wouldn't know that it's supposed to cut this line as well. Not quite done. I need to do a little bit of cleaning up still. So now I'm going to use my eraser. I'm going to make my eraser a little bit bigger here. And I'm just going to erase that line. And I want to erase this as well. There we go. And I can continue. Now I don't want to save this as a print and then cut. I don't want it to print the lettering that's in there. I just want to cut. And I'm going to save that. So now I have this uploaded. So now I actually want to bring it right into my little canvas. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to insert images. And I can straighten this out now. I'm also going to double check that it's the right size. It doesn't always import in the right to the right length and width and that kind of thing. So I know that this piece is 8 inches, so I'm going to change that to the height will be 8 inches. And it's changed the width to 2.045. It should be 2 inches. That's fine. That's very little difference. So really, that's about it. Now I can go and say, make it. And it'll show me where this is. Now, of course, I'm not exactly sure why it doesn't stay straight, but regardless. So I can just move that around, adjust it, and now I'm ready to actually go ahead and just cut it out. This is what my mat will actually look like. So if I position it exactly where I want it, and you'll see now when I do my paw print why the positioning is important. But that's all I have to do there. So I'm just going to cancel this, and I'm just going to delete this. Now once again, I'm going to just change this a little bit. Now I want to bring in my paw heart. So I'm going to once again upload image, and I'm just going to drag it over. Go full screen here. Now because this is already an SVG file, there's no background to get rid of or anything like that. To do this, I just Googled paw print heart, and it gave me a whole bunch of selections. I put in paw print heart SVG, so it brought up SVG files. This was from Etsy. Went on Etsy, paid a couple of bucks, got the design, downloaded it, and this is where we are now. So this is all ready to go, and so I'm just going to save it. So now you can see that it's in with my images. Once again, click on it and insert images. So here it is. Now I want to resize this. It's way too big. It's about 12 inches wide and just about 10 inches high. So I'm going to change this. For my purposes, I want it 4 inches high. So that's what it's going to do here. Now there's a couple more things. If you go over here, you will see that there's a bunch of layers. Now an SVG file, depending on how they're made, they could be a whole bunch of layers. And that way you could have each layer be a different color. If you were doing heat press vinyl, you could have a red heart with a black paw print or something along that line. We don't want to do it that way. We want the design to cut the way it looks over here. Right now, if I went make it, this is what would come out. So that's not what I want. So I'm going to cancel this. I want it to cut this whole thing just as it sits. So I highlight it so that it's all in the same box. Then I'm going to go down over to the bottom here and I'm going to click on weld. So now you can see that instead of having a couple of different layers here, now I just have one. So now if I go to make it, this is what shows up on my mat. So now I can also just grab that and the whole thing comes all at once. Now in the case of I was making a pocket and doing a reverse applique. My leather was 12 inches wide and it was 12.5 inches long. So I put my leather down, but I needed to make sure that I had this exactly sitting where I wanted it to cut out. So that's how I figured out, I just had to position it, I think I had it sitting at about 6 inches just over to the right hand side from center. And I took into allowance seam allowances, where straps were going to sit, all of that kind of stuff. Figured out where I wanted it to be, and then that's where I left it. So if I have my positioning right, then I'm ready to continue. Now it's just connected now to my maker. Now, typically I use a lot of vinyl, do a lot of heat press vinyl, that kind of stuff, make t-shirts and whatnot. So I would just click on vinyl. Now, this case, I'm using leather. So I'm going to browse materials. I'm going to go to categories and leather. Now it gives me a bunch of different ones. So faux leather, paper thin, that's definitely not what I'm working with. Go down till I find what it is that I'm looking for. What I was using was garment leather. It was the 2 to 3 ounce. So that's what I'm going to click on. And done. So now the maker knows I'm using a certain thickness of a leather, a certain softness of leather, all of that. So it's going to do its own thing and figure out how hard to press, all of that kind of stuff. But it does tell me I have to load the knife blade into the clamp. So that's what I did. I mean, I knew that I was going to need it anyway, but once I have all of that ready to go, my Cricut maker now will be, this little button will be flashing on it, and that's where I'm going to put my mat in and load it. Once it's loaded, then the little Cricut sign will be flashing. It's ready to go, it's ready to start, and I click on that and let the cutter do its thing. So this is my leather. I actually have it on my mat, and because it's leather, it's not gonna stick down really well. So I want to get it stuck down as much as I possibly can. It's going, because of the suede side or the flesh side of the leather, I use kind of one of the old mats, because it gets all of the suede all over the mat. So not only do you stick this down, but you also need to use, according to the directions that Cricut gives, is to use masking tape and mask all of the sides all the way around. That's going to help hold this in place. Take the blade out and show you. This blade doesn't swivel like when you're cutting paper. This one actually has like a gear on it, and the Cricut will turn this the way that it needs to. So that's just going to go in there, and it's going to recognize it. So over here, I'm not sure if you can see, yeah, you can see it's flashing. It's ready to go. So it's ready to load. I'm just going to give a little bit of help. One of the things is these little, there's little grippy wheels that help pull your fabric or paper, vinyl, whatever it is that you're looking at, or what you want to cut. Those have to be moved over to the sides. Otherwise, they have enough pressure, they will actually kind of cut your leather. So you don't want that. So you want those over to the side. So it's just going to kind of do its thing. Now it's saying it's ready to go, so I can hit the Cricut, and this is going to do this whole thing. It's going to go over the whole design 4 times to cut. Right now it's calibrating the wheel. So here we have it, and I can actually just go ahead and remove that. Be able to pick these off too. And you can see how the suede stuff kind of sticks to that. But it did a really nice job. So that is how a Cricut maker with the cutting blade will cut leather. So it does a really nice precision job of it, and I'm going to continue on so that I can do this reverse applique. I really hope that you enjoyed my little video and that you got some good information that you can use, or that maybe even helps you make a decision about whether to get a cutter or not. If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, and give me a like, and also make sure that you hit the notification button so that when I post new content that you are notified right away.